Hello, friends. So, how are you? Okay, now today we start a new chapter, the structural organization of animals. Okay, now as you know, okay, all animals, chapter number 7, first of all, that is the thing. Okay, chapter number 7, structural organization of animals. And as you know, okay, all animals are made up of cells. Okay, so cells are arranged in a specific manner and they create a group of cells and they done their functions and the different group of cells having the different functions, and this group of cells, who those who have a same function, those who have a same origin, it's called tissue. Okay, now as you know, cells are joined together and form a tissue. Now the different tissues are joined together and form a organ, and different organs joined together, organ system create करते हैं, and the organ system forms a whole body organization. So, in short, this whole body organization is done by different cell, okay, and cells, group of cells is called tissue. So, in this chapter, we are going to start a tissue and the discussion of tissue, okay. So, there are the different tissues are present in our body. Okay, so now you are all aware about the tissue. Okay, the cells are having the different cells having the different function. Okay, now according to their function and according to their location, the tissues are having the four types. Okay, tissues are having the four types. These are four types. Now, second thing, if you see any organ of your body, if I am if I observe my forearms, okay, so in my forearms there is the muscles, there is the skin, there is the bones also. So bones, skin, blood cells, sorry, blood vessels, and nerve tissues. So there are so many tissues are present in my single organ. So there are so many tissues are present in a single organ. So this different types of tissue are is of only four. Okay, only four type of tissue. If I am saying the upper layer is made up of skin, so upper layer is called epithelial tissue. So in any organ, epithelial tissue. So the covering or the outer layer or the protective layer of any organ, it's called epithelial tissue. Okay, so if there is the layer or is the protective layer which is present on any organ, it's called epithelial tissue. Now the second tissue is connective tissue. Connective tissue. Okay, which connect the two organs or which connect the two tissues, it's called connective tissue. Okay, there are the different connective tissues in your body, उसके बारे में हम डिटेल स्टडी करेंगे बाद में. Then connective tissue के बाद there is the muscular tissue. Muscular tissue means muscles of your body. Okay, in the chapter number 20, okay, आप 20 chapter जब देखेंगे तो you will understand the different types of tissue, muscles, and what is the function of different muscles and location of different muscles, okay, and structure of different muscles. Okay, so muscular tissue, and the last one is, and the most important is, neural tissue. So without this tissue ये कोई भी काम नहीं कर पाएंगे, because neural tissue is for the coordination of your body or the regulation of your body. So there is the neural tissue and which present throughout the body. पूरे बॉडी के अंदर nerve tissue पूरी arrange हुई है. Okay, so neural tissue or nerve tissue is most important part. So all tissues are important according to their places, but sorry, as their okay, their places. Okay, now we start the first tissue is epithelial tissue. Okay, the first tissue जो हम आज डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, today we discuss the epithelial tissue. Okay, now epithelial tissue is divided into two different parts or two different divisions according to the layer. If as I say, कि the epithelial tissue forms a single layer, okay, or it forms a layer upon the organ or upon the different tissues. So वो कोई भी organ के ऊपर एक layer form करते हैं. If there is a simple or single layered cells और single layer वाला cell जो layer बनता है, so it's called simple epithelial tissue. So इसको बोलते हैं simple epithelium, okay, which is only a single layer. Okay, there is the single layer of cell. It's called simple epithelial tissue. And the second one is compound epithelium. What is compound epithelium? Means there are these so many layers present in the outer layer. So जो outer layer बना हुआ है वो there are so many layers of cells. So it's called compound epithelial tissue, which is very easy and which located जहाँ पे friction सबसे ज़्यादा है body में. What for an example, skin. Okay, so the compound epithelial tissue is present on skin and different glands of body, etc. etc. उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. Now simple epithelial tissue, जो simple है, it is a single layer. Okay, it is a single layer lining. Okay, now simple epithelial tissue, according to the shape and size of cell, it further divided into the three different types. Okay, the first type is squamosal epithelium. Second is cuboidal epithelium, and last one is columnar epithelium. So there are three type of simple epithelial tissue. The first one is squamosal epithelium. So squamosal epithelium is like tiles. फ्लोरिंग जो होता है टाइल्स, वो फ्लोरिंग के जैसी टाइल्स होती है, उसके जैसे सेल्स होते हैं. जो सेल्स आर फ्लैटेंड, द लार्ज न्यूक्लियस इज देयर, एंड between the two adjacent cells there are this cement material or cement joining for the joining of these cells, and there is no intracellular space is present, and the whole layer is situated above the बेसमेंट मेम्ब्रेन, जिसको बेसमेंट और एसेल्युलर मेम्ब्रेन बोलते हैं. एसेल्युलर मेम्ब्रेन के ऊपर पूरी. Okay, so squamosal epithelium is a very flattened cell, so there are very thin cells. Indirectly, they are very thin cells. Because of these thin cells, the biophysical processes become easy. So, for an example, the osmosis become easy, the diffusion become easy. So, because of these thin cells, squamosal cells, the diffusion and facilitate diffusion and osmosis and active transport or whatever transportation is become easy. Okay, now second thing key so where is the squamosal epithelium? So squamosal epithelium is located जहाँ पे the transportation is done. For an example, the blood capillaries. So the squamosal epithelium is present in the blood capillaries. Then the alveolar sac, जो alveolar sac है उसकी जो lining है which is made up of squamosal epithelium. Then the Bowman capsule of nephron है उसकी Bowman capsule होती है. ओके, जो मल्पीडियन बॉडी बनाती है, एंड देन ग्लोमेरुलस होते हैं, ग्लोमेरुलस से फिल्ट्रेशन होता है, देन बाउमन कैप्सूल के अंदर जो लाइनिंग है इट इज मेड अप ऑफ स्क्वेमोजल एपिथेलियम. सो स्क्वेमोजल एपिथेलियम. सेकंड थिंग जो एक मैं बात बताना भूल गया आपको कि सिंपल एपिथेलियम टिश्यू जो है, सिंपल एपिथेलियल टिश्यू व्हिच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर सिक्रीशन एंड एब्जॉर्प्शन. सिंपल एपिथेलियल टिश्यू का जो मेन फंक्शन है वो क्या है? secretion and absorption. Okay, so squamosal epithelium वो absorb भी करते हैं and secretion भी, लेकिन in very less amount, but it is helpful in diffusion and osmosis. Okay, now you know the squamosal epithelium. Now the cuboidal epithelium. The cuboidal epithelium is look like this. The cube-like cells which present and in a single layer. Or if you want to see the behind this cells, अगर आप इस पीछे के cells को देखना चाहते हैं, so they look like this. वो कुछ ऐसे दिखते हैं. So it is single layer. ये पीछे के cells हैं. Okay, so this is the simple epithelial cells and the cuboidal. Why it's called cuboidal? Because they look like cubes. Because they look like cubes, that is called cuboidal. फिर से they are situated on acellular membrane or acellular basement. Second thing कि the main function is secretion and absorption. So they are present in nephron. Nephron की जो inner lining है, nephron lining के अंदर, for an example PCT, proximal convoluted tube, they are present in PCT. Proximal convoluted tube के अंदर they are present. Okay, throughout the nephron cuboidal epithelium होता है, but the main function is secretion and absorption. That's why they are present there. Then columnar epithelium. So if these cubes are elongated, for an example, आप यहाँ पे देख लीजिए कि for an example कुछ ऐसा है कि the cells are elongated and column-like. They make columns like this. So this is the example of columnar epithelium. So these cells are columnar epithelium. Okay, they look like column. That's why it's called columnar epithelium. Now, columnar epitheliums are situated the inner lining of stomach and intestine because of absorption and secretion. फिर से बोला कि they increase the area of absorption surface, so they are present in the inner lining of intestine, inner lining of stomach. Okay, so they are the columnar epithelium. Now the next one, if there are these so many cilia are present on the cell surface, for an example like this, there are these so many cilia are present on the cells, so they are converted in a ciliated epithelium. It is called cuboidal columnar ciliated epithelium. Sorry. So it is the ciliated epithelium. Now, where is this ciliated epithelium? Means cuboidal भी ciliated होते हैं, columnar भी ciliated होते हैं. So where is this ciliated epithelium? Ciliated epithelium कहाँ पे होते हैं? जहाँ पे उनको movement का काम करवाना है. For an example, they helps in the transportation of mucus. They help the transportation of cells. For an example, वो bronchis में होते हैं. For an example, they present in oviduct also. So they transport the molecules. They transport the mucus. They transport the chemicals. They transport the gametes. Whatever. So they done the transportation process. Okay, they push some chemicals or etc. So the ciliated epitheliums are helpful in transportation. Okay, so this is ciliated epithelium. So if the ciliated epithelium हमको उसको बाहर रखे, then there is the three types: squamosal epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, and columnar epithelium. Okay, so there are main three type of epithelium. Okay,
so this is the simple epithelial tissue, but now some cuboidal and columnar epithelium, like some cuboidal epithelium and some columnar epithelium, they forming a gland cell, means they become secretory cells. They become secretory cells and they secrete some chemicals. Okay, for an example, hormones or enzymes. Okay, they secrete the hormones or enzymes, so they become a gland cells or glands. They becoming a glands. Now if they become a gland, it is of two type. It is a unicellular gland or multicellular gland. For an example, I am giving the example. If you consider the salivary gland as a secretory gland, so salivary gland is a multicellular gland and the cells are epithelial cells. Second, if you see the inner lining of stomach, there is the goblet cells. Okay, so goblet cells which secrete the mucus. जो स्टमक के अंदर म्यूकस सिक्रेट करता है, उस सेल्स को बोलते हैं गॉबलेट सेल्स. सो दे आर सिंगल और यूनिसेल्युलर. सो गॉबलेट सेल्स आर यूनिसेल्युलर एंड दे सिक्रेट द म्यूकस, सो दे आर सिक्रेटरी सेल्स, मींस ग्लैंड सेल्स. Salivary glands is also a gland. Then goblet cells is also a gland, means it's considered as a stomach gland or gastric gland. So some cells are forming glands. So some glands are unicellular, some glands are मल्टी सेलुलर। मैंने आप दोनों को अब मैंने इन दोनों का एग्जांपल आपको दिया। नाउ द ग्लैंड्स आर अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेल्स नंबर इट इज डिवाइडेड इनटू टू, यूनिसेलुलर मल्टीसेलुलर, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू द secretion it is of two type. First, if the secretory materials are directly secreted into the blood, it's called endocrine gland. For an example, pancreas. Okay, for an example, adrenal, but adrenal का example हम नहीं लेंगे. So, for an example, pancreas है वो endocrine as well as exocrine है. Why I am giving this example? Because pancreas secrete their secretion into blood. That's why they are endocrine. So the gland who secrete their secretion direct into the blood, it's called endocrine gland. But the second one is कि if the secretion is secreted by through a duct, so glands are collect their secretion and they passes through a duct, and then ducts are open into the target organ or at the target organ. So it's called ductal gland or exocrine gland. And ductless gland, they are the endocrine gland. So glands are according to their secretion. There are two type of gland. Endocrine, they secrete the direct into the blood, they secrete their secretion into the blood, and exocrine, they secrete their material through a duct. Okay, so exocrine and endocrine. Okay, so there is two type of glands. Now the compound epithelium. Okay, so here the simple epithelium is clear. Now compound epithelium. As I say कि compound epithelium, for an example I am drawing here. So compound epithelium के अंदर there are the different layers of cell. यहाँ पे दूसरा layer हो गया, then third layer हो गया, then fourth layer हो गया. वैसे there are multiple layers are there. Okay, so the multiple layers are there, that's why it's called compound epithelium. Okay, sorry, यहाँ पे है compound epithelium. So compound epithelium is multicellular, that's why they are not functioning this secretion and absorption, because they are multicellular. वो multicellular, that's why they can't absorb so many materials, they can't secrete the chemicals. Okay, so what is the function of this compound epithelium? So the function of compound epithelium is mechanical and chemical support to the organ. वो organ को mechanically and chemically support करते हैं, they give the protection. Okay, वो protection भी provide करते हैं. For an example, मैंने अभी आपका skin का example दिया था. Skin है, then buccal cavity की जो lining है, buccal cavity lining है, skin है, then salivary gland की जो protection करता है, वो सब है compound epithelial tissue. Okay. Now, if you see the epithelial tissue, the cell, there is no intracellular space. Okay, generally there are no intracellular space. So, according to the connection of two cells or junction of two cells, there are the three type of junctioning. Okay, there are the three type of junction. The first one is called tight junction. Okay, so now what is tight junction? So tight junction means the cells are joining with cement material. Okay, means they are connect with each other and they are tightly connect, so any substance they do not leak through this junction or through the cell membrane. Cell membrane से कोई भी ऐसा जो chemicals हैं वो leak नहीं हो पाए या that's why there is the tight junction. Okay, the second one is gap junction. Okay, so in the gap junction there is the gap between two cell membrane, but very minute, there is no lots of space, but there is a minute space between the two cells or adjacent cells to transport. They give the facility to transport some substance or materials, ions and etc or nutritive materials. So they give the facility to transport the materials, that's why it's called gap junction. So there is a gap between the two cells. And third one is adhering junction. Adhering junction is important means they adhesive, they are adhesive, they attach, they make attachment of different cells, वो एक दूसरे सेल्स के साथ अटैच होते हैं एंड विथ सीमेंट मटेरियल, मैंने जो आपको पहले सीमेंट मटेरियल बताया था. सो दे कनेक्ट दी टू सेल्स विद दी adhering junction. So there are three types of junction: tight junction, gap junction and adhering junction. Okay, in the cells, between the cells rather. So this is all about the epithelial tissue. Okay, so epithelial tissue is very easy. It is of two types: simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple epithelium में squamosal, cuboidal, columnar and ciliated. Now there is the location of different location of this tissue. Second thing, they forming a gland. Gland is unicellular or multicellular. Unicellular goblet cells, multicellular में salivary glands. Then according to the secretion there are two types: exocrine, endocrine. Okay, and the junctions of cells, there are the three types: tight junction, gap junction and adhering junction or adhesive junction. Okay, so this is all about the epithelial tissue. In the next lecture we will go to the connective tissue में हम जाएंगे in the next lecture. So आज यहाँ तक रखता हूँ. Okay, bye.